My greatest fear was death. My biggest fear was death. I couldn't stand the thought of it. Endless nothingness. Happiness, sadness, joy, hate, laughing, crying. I would rather feel anything than for it all to end. Growing up in a traditionally religious house, I was the black sheep, sleeping through the service, bored out of my mind. They found solace in God, while I found nothing to call mine. I didn't have a God to pray to, a voice to follow, an afterlife to look forward to. To a point I can't even move, petrified in the thought of it all ending. Going to college, though being used as an escape for my inescapable phobia, even added onto my stress. The better a time I had, the faster it went. I would blink and days would pass. A repetitious, scheduled week is a sped-up process. I met many friends, learned many things, enjoyed as much as I could. I even took a metaphysics class for the hell of it, hoping the human soul was real and an afterlife was possible. There, I met my solace, the woman who quelled my demons, the light that brought me out of the darkness. One smile. One fucking smile is all it took. She was the most beautiful person I'd ever locked eyes with. Green eyes, red, curly hair, a smile that etched into my heart. No cap, I was a simp then and there. Maybe after, 40 seconds had passed, she noticed I was just focused on her. When our eyes met, my heart almost flew straight out of my chest. Fuck, she's gonna think I'm a creep. Next thing I know, she winks and giggles. I swear I could hear trumpets somewhere in the back. Horns of triumph? The class ends and I immediately decide I have to talk to her. The last thing I want is one season of the melodrama that is my life to be focused on me simping and finding out she'd hooked up and got with a Chad. Let's face it, I'm not the sexiest guy, but man, I can make people laugh. Okay, maybe giggle at best, but I got that going for me. I walk up to her, real smooth, right? I stand up straight, making sure my posture is good. I suck in a bit because, I'm not fat, but I'm not skinny. I keep my big ass head up, make sure I'm not crouching. I finally get there and just flabbergasted at her beauty. I can only mutter out, "What's up?" I could have died right then and there and been fine with it. She looked at me confused, but then just let out a laugh she was trying to hold in. Not gonna lie, she thought it was funny and I was cute. The trumpets sound harder, like something out of an old Kanye sample. The next weeks were some of the best of my life. We would talk and text and call at all times of the day. We were in the cupcake phase. If you don't know what that is, check out Why You Asking All Them Questions on YouTube. Exploring each other and literally checking off what we were looking for in a partner. I would randomly text her pickup lines every chance I could, like really cheesy ones. Example. "Damn, baby, did it hurt when you fell from heaven?" Again, no cap, I was simping. She literally illuminated my whole life, and she was strong, resilient, tough. She had basically no relationship with her parents, kicked out as a teenager. She had to grow up in this world all by herself. She had an old soul, wisdom out of the ass. Of course I liked oldies. Some Frank Sinatra, dazzle dazzle here and there, with a touch of Marvin Gaye. But she was listening to classic jazz. She always tried to put me on some artist named Robert Johnson. She claimed he was her favorite. We would go on dates, cute Instagram stuff like haunted houses, walks in the forest, and she absolutely loved picking apples. Those were her favorite. Time just flew by with her. We were always on the move, enjoying the life we had together. Got to a point where life was just moving a bit too fast and my fears came back. Yet I wasn't as scared as I was before. Maybe it was the fact that I thought there wasn't an afterlife, or maybe I was worried my life would pass by alone. At home, I was a black sheep. At school, I couldn't connect with people. I was alone in my atheism, so I was alone in my prison of fear. With her, my panic attacks dissipated. I was happy. We would spend every minute together. The sex was to die for. She was so flexible and tempting. I literally felt like she was wrapping me up in her lust. Recently, she missed her period. At first I thought she was stressed, but after the second month, we went to check it out. I was going to be a dad. I felt complete then and there, like I could take on the world. I remember clear as day, the day we went to find out the gender. I couldn't take it anymore. As I held her hand, waiting for the doctor to tell us, I got down on one knee and asked for her to marry me. She cried. She said yes. We were gonna have a girl. I could have died then and there. The happiest man in the world. I wish I had. I took Lucy Ferrum, my pride and joy, my guiding light, to be my partner until death do us part. Neither of us were big on churches, so we had an outdoor wedding in a forest. She had many girlfriends at the party, but no family. I found it strange then, but remembered her falling out with her parents. We had an incredible time, even 8 months pregnant. She was stunning. We wanted to be married before she gave birth. We argued over her name for months. I was to name her Maria after my grandmother and mother, but she didn't like it. Abigail, Hannah, Sarah, she didn't like any of my names. We finally had a name in agreement. Lilith. She loved the sound of it, and I was a huge Evangelion fan, so I was down for the cause. She was going to be born sometime in July. We got kind of frisky on Halloween. Let's face it, a skimpy little angel costume will drive any man crazy. June came, and on the third day she started getting contractions. A little premature, sure, but I was ready for my future. 3 days of labor, 3 days of pain. It was like seeing her go through a marathon of hell. Finally, on the third day, June 6th, my baby girl was born. My sweet Lilith, crying and squirming. I held my world in my hands. As years passed, she grew into the most beautiful daughter a dad could ask for. Again, for the last time in my life, my fear of death approached. The day my dad died, I couldn't hold it together. Part of me died, and I knew I would never get it back. If any of you have gone through that grief, you know how it feels. Like carrying a backpack of sadness, constantly being weighed down. Cloudy sadness. Lucy could tell something was wrong. After a few days, I finally relented. I had never told anyone of my phobia. I literally had compressed my fears and sadness for so long that when it finally came out, I couldn't stop crying. After it all came out, all my sadness, all my pain, all my anxiety, all my anger, I finally looked into her eyes. Those green orbs of beauty just gave me this look of understanding. After holding back for what felt like an eternity, she finally spoke. Can I tell you something? She felt like she needed to tell me something she had never told anyone before. An eye for an eye, she said. I could tell by her lip biting and the tears welling up in her eyes it was something big. Finally, she came out with it. Babe, I'm the devil. I didn't know what to say. I couldn't say anything. I was speechless. I looked at her confused, but then just let out a laugh I was trying to hold in. In that moment, we locked eyes again, but I knew she was serious. I could tell she wouldn't budge. I asked her what she meant. How could she be the devil when she was my shimmering light in the darkness? Then she asked a question that still brings back chills to this day. Didn't you hear the trumpets when we met? I immediately stood up. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Did she hear them too? What the fuck is going on? She could tell I was in shock, so she took my hand and sat me back down. She told me everything. To this day, I wish she hadn't. She told me about her eternal life, how she lived through all of mankind, through all the great wars, all the great civilizations, her encounters with Eve, the crucifixion of Jesus, the Roman Empire, the Spanish Inquisition. Through all the hatred, all the wars, the loss of life, multiple relationships, she had found me then and there. Everyone always avoided her, but she could never tell why. Maybe they could tell she was off. Throughout her entire existence, she was alone until she met me. She genuinely fell in love. Like life had finally come to a halt and she could finally live in a world she merely existed in. After hours, she finally looked up at me, tears in her eyes, hopelessly heartbroken. I never had anything to call mine. I never had a mother. I never had a father. I was created. I was banished. Eons of time later, I was ready to end until I met you. Maybe it was written, maybe it was an accident, but I'll never regret being me with you. I held this broken, beautiful angel, hand in hand, and I did what I could. I kissed her. I kissed her and I held her. I fell in love all over again. She starts crying again. I tell her she could be the devil, she could be anything, but I would only know her as Lucy, my love and light. She wasn't having it. Finally, I ask her what's wrong now. Babe, Lilith was written. Your nightmares were prophecies. She is the Antichrist. She is the darkness. She is the void. She will end all life. She will be all and nothing. She is the end. I froze. It was like I was in a buffer. I was petrified. I was still. My angel is the Antichrist? My wife is the devil? Was this the plan all along? I've never felt love like I had with Lucy until Lilith came. My world and my heart. All those nightmares about the end, all that fear, they were premonitions. I had opened the seventh seal. My existence led to the end. I asked her if there was any way I could stop this. She gave me an offer. A pact with the devil. Her last deal. She said I could either let her reach of age and begin the end, or travel back to the day before I met Lucy and end my life. So here I am, holding hands with the devil while the end of life takes her midday nap. I know what the answer should be. I know what lies in the future and lies for you. Choose to keep on in this reality or not. It will all end for me. What should I do? I really want to save you, my friend. I do. But my soul yearns for them. They are my life. And whether or not I go back, we're all going to die someday, aren't we?